As mild as temperatures were nationwide today, it is hard to believe I'm saying this, but the start of winter, at least on the calendar, is right around the corner. The season officially starts, from an astronomical perspective, for Japan at 12:03 a.m., just after midnight on December 22nd. At that point, the sun's tilt against the Earth's poles will be at maximum, which means for those of us in the northern hemisphere, we will have the shortest period of daylight and the longest night of the year. It also means that for those of us in the northern hemisphere, the days will begin to get a little longer as we make our 6-month progression towards summer. Well, with the big day just a little more than 1 month away, SolarCast is going to take a look at what Japan can expect for winter 2025 coming up. Well, first off, let's take a step back and look at what is perhaps the largest driver of winter weather in the world, the ENSO, ENSO. On November 9th, SolarCast actually put out a winter update on the ENSO, and we have a little bit more data to work with now. We also published ENSO updates back in September and October. The Climate Prediction Center, an office of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the United States, published their latest ENSO status on November 17th. The ENSO, just to review, means the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which is the $100 technical lingo for the mechanism that drives the La Nina and El Nino phenomenon. Since the last update earlier this month, new sea surface temperature data supports the idea that a mild La Nina is indeed working right now in the equatorial Pacific. Every Nino region is in negative anomaly territory right now, continuing a trend we have seen since late summer. Historical anomalies captured in this video, seen here, make the difference a lot easier to visualize. But here's one point. It should be noted that while the Nino observed areas are coming in at lower than normal temperatures, the sea temperatures around the Sea of Japan and north of the Philippines remain warmer than average. Remember this point because we're going to come back to it a little later. So, this La Nina working in the Pacific now, well, it's not all that substantive. And the change in numbers from October to November bear that out. Keep in mind that when we're talking about the ENSO, be it whether it's a La Nina or an El Nino or even a neutral phase, we're talking in probabilities. The La Nina was declared in October, but there are chances that it is waning already. Across the board, the likelihood of a La Nina lasting through the winter diminishes with time, more so now than in the October forecast. Let's take a look at the December, January, February time frame, for instance. The chance of a dominant La Nina has decreased from 56 to 51%, while the chance of a neutral situation in the Nino regions has increased from 41 to 48%. Going forward in time just a little bit, the chances of a La Nina dwindle through the winter while an ENSO neutral phase gears up in late winter, spring, and summer before dealing with a predicted stronger El Nino. Looking a little further out, actually El Nino chances increase to 40% by midsummer of 2026, while neutral probabilities decrease from the peak of 73% in the spring to just over 50%. That means we may be setting up for an El Nino next year, but we'll get to that a little later. What all this means to Japan at the end of the day is that the La Nina will have only a modest effect on our upcoming winter. But we do have a lot more in play here than just La Nina. Let's review the latest Japan winter weather forecast. Now, this summary chart that I'm showing you now is all over the place. I mean, this chart puts in almost everything except the kitchen sink. But the nut of the story is that the Siberian highs and Aleutian lows up there at the top of the graph will be more prevalent than normal. So while La Nina is trying to bring up more clouds and precipitation to Japan, these large pressure domes are also trying to counter its effects to a degree. It really is a battle of global forces, for sure. Now, just to note, just because a La Nina is in effect now, today, in the South Pacific, does not mean that we, here in Japan, will see or feel its effects today. Remember that La Nina is a lagging phenomenon, meaning that the conditions present now will take a few weeks for themselves to be felt and filter through to other areas, such as here in Japan. Let's check out the near-term precipitation and precipitation maps. These charts are from the JMA, throw a lot at you. So let's break down what's going on in these maps. Below every region, you will see three numbers. These numbers describe the chance of less than normal, normal, and greater than normal conditions for the region in the time frame discussed. Well, in this case, we're talking about the temperatures through December 21st. So, if we look at the Tohoku region, and we will see the numbers 20, 30, and 50. Well, this means that there is a 20% chance that temperatures will be lower than normal, a 30% chance that temperatures will be normal, and a 50% chance that temperatures will be above normal for that time frame. Well, all told, these charts are a crazy kaleidoscope of numbers and colors, and it's almost too much to take in at one shot. So let's break it down by region and condition. Looking at Hokkaido and Tohoku first, the overall temperature trend has about a 50% chance of being warmer than normal through December 21st. Temperatures become a little more seasonal as we get into the new year, although the chance of a warmer than normal winter do maintain at around 40% for the remainder of the winter. That is also balanced by the fact that it's a 60% chance, right, of a normal or below normal temperatures. For precipitation, and here we mean all types of the wet stuff, right, snow or rain or ice, whatever, odds favor a normal to slightly above normal pattern in Tohoku through the end of December, while Tohoku will be slightly edging toward a drier month as we get into the winter. The entire region then will tilt back to wetter periods from around January to February. Snowfall, however, is going to be a little late getting into the region. So while precipitation will be about normal or above through the end of December in many areas there, that will be in the form of rain, as also the chance of temperatures being above normal, certainly above freezing, remains high. From January through the end of February, however, odds for good snowfalls increase as temperatures decline to seasonal or just below seasonal values. For Kanto, Shinshu, and Hokuriku, well, there's an 80% chance that temperatures here will trend to normal to slightly higher than normal for the near term through to December 21st. Then they will break toward normal as we head into January. Precipitation trends suggest a drier than normal winter all season, except along the Sea of Japan coast, Ishikawa, Toyama, and Niigata prefectures, which will trend to normal to greater than normal levels of rain and snowfall this winter. And while we will see close to seasonal norms in Nagano and Gunma prefectures, as things stand right now, unfortunately in Kanto, there's not many chances of any significant snowfall coming to the capital area this winter. So moving on to Chubu, Tokai, and Kansai. Well, temperatures here have a 60% chance to trend normal or lower than normal through January, then leveling out to around normal during the second half of winter. For precipitation of all forms, rain, snow, mix of those, there's an even chance, 50%, of having a drier than normal winter except along the Sea of Japan coast, Fukui, Kyoto, Hyogo prefectures, where things should be closer to normal. For the Chugoku area, Shikoku, and Kyushu, Well, this area will share larger seasonal trends, so we're just going to batch them all together, pretty much all of Western Japan here. There is a balanced chance of temperatures running normal or a little normal than average throughout the season. There is a very little chance for any major deviation from the norms actually throughout the winter. The real news here is that the area has a 60% chance right now of running drier than normal through December, and the odds of a dry spell continue to stay elevated at 50% through the rest of the season. Moving on to Okinawa. Well, our southernmost island chain will see normal seasonal temperatures throughout December with a 40% chance of cooler than normal temperatures going in for the remainder of the winter. In terms of precipitation, Okinawa will see a 50% chance of a drier than normal winter through February. All of this should be moderately good news for the ski resorts around the country. The all-important snow for Hokkaido and the northern areas of the country will be a little late in coming, but from January onward, there is about an even chance that you will catch up, and there may be possibly more snow than normal through the end of February. Now, I need to mention this, and it is very important to understand that we are dealing in probabilities here, and neither this video nor the JMA charts that I just showed you are an absolute guarantee of what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis. Accurate forecasting really is only good to about 7 days out. No, don't even think about 2 to 3 months. My God, no. Trends as a good baseline are good for about 4 weeks. So as we approach the new year, we will revisit these trends and it will be a little bit easier to spot, and Sortocast will certainly update accordingly. Do you remember I talked about the Aleutian low just a little while ago? Well, at a seasonal level, this low will be sending down winds over the Pacific coast and over Western Japan, which in turn will begin to act like a barrier of sorts, steering away localized low pressure systems from that area of Japan and making it really difficult for them to get over to the Pacific side of the nation. Well, this is really concerning because in that area we have a significant rainfall deficit. And if you remember, our rainy season this past June came in way lower than normal as well. Rainfall this autumn also has been very unevenly distributed. Yokohama, for instance, is at 14% of its normal expected rainfall for November, while Maebashi up in Gunma has received only 9% of its normal rainfall for the month. And we are truly bordering on a drought situation in the midsection and south part of the nation, while the north part of the nation, Hokkaido, Tohoku, parts of the Sea of Japan, are running about 100 to 300% of normal. Well, hopefully we can get some lows over the winter months that can break through that barrier and get some rain and snowfall where it is sorely needed in the central, western, and southern parts of the country. Well, that's the winter update for now. Hey, if you like weather and science related content from Japan, be sure to doink that like and subscribe button and join Sotacast for its mission. We would love to have you. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.